Good morning, Prof. Good morning, viewers. How are you doing? It is another Sunday morning. I hope you're well and you're doing great. Prof, how are you today? Good morning to you.
Good morning, Bibi. I'm good, thank you. Good morning, everyone joining us this morning. I hope you enjoyed the snow from last week and the nice, wonderful, weather present to all of us. Did you get any snow, Bibi?
Prof, okay, you haven't been following me on social media. I'm very sure of that. Because if you have been following me, you would know that I've had an amazing time in the snow. Like literally every single day, been rejoicing for the snow. I was like a child. I love seeing snow fall. I love seeing snow. I don't really like cold, but just the sight of snow, it takes me to that place where I'm just like, wow. This God is just awesome, man. So yeah, I had a great time with the snow, but we're paying for it now because the ice is still yet to all melt off completely.
That's always the downside of it, right?
Good.
And talking about snow and different weathers, I was on a call the other day, kind of like a global call, and I had different people from different parts of the world. And then there was somebody from Egypt, and the person said, "Oh, it's 21 degrees here." And then there was another person from closer in the Middle East, like, Dubai is like, "Oh, it's even hotter here." Then I had someone from Russia. Then I said, "Oh, it's -2 degrees here." And he went, it's -18 degrees here.
Oh, dear. So you think you have it worse? Listen to another person or wait for another person to come and share their own. Yes. It's the weather thing. And it's all of these things that even make me marvel at the mightiness, the awesomeness of God, which is one thing I still kind of like. I still ask myself, like, why would anyone even say that there is no God, But anyway, I'm mindful that I'm speaking to a scientist, but thankfully I'm speaking to a Christian, a believer scientist. So yes, so I'm sure the science and the other thing wouldn't come into play here. But yeah, it's an amazing thing and amazing time for us. So Prof, it's funny you were talking about being on a phone call and everything. This morning, I was thinking, just before we started this show, I was thinking about something, and I'm sure this is something we can really talk about here, right? And it's about working from home. So it's like, the last time I went into the office was last year, March the 16th, and I have not been to the office since then. And this is February already. 2021, by the way. So, and I'm sure it's probably the same for you, or maybe you've had to go in a couple of times, I'm not sure. But yeah, so it's, I started thinking about what this would mean to people in terms of our mental health, how we're looking at after ourselves and the home. And I thought, okay, let's just talk about this here. What are your views on this? What do you think about it? And how do you feel about working from home for a long period of time?
This thing about working from home is almost like one is an onion. If you start peeling it out, there are many different layers to it. Another person might say it's like Pandora's box. When you open it, you never quite know what's going to come out. But there are many different aspects to this, and maybe we can look at the different aspects. One aspect of working from home is, of course, the convenience of not having to commute, right? Or I shouldn't say convenience. The fact of not having to commute, whether it's a convenience or not, is dependent on the individual.
Well, it was until recently.
Exactly. So there's one, the fact of not having to commute. So suddenly you've cut the time that you actually spend traveling.
Yeah. Then
there's number two, what you might call the kind of higher density of the work you're doing. And I'm trying to refrain from using words that connote positive or negative here, because again, it depends on the context. So what I mean is, for example, if your work day previously was 10 hours, of those 10 hours, you spent 2 hours commuting, or 12 hours and you spent 4 hours commuting. Then if you actually are not commuting, then your work day could end up being 8 hours.
True.
So it's you're doing more within less time, or doing the same, but it's taking you less time to do it overall. So it's more density, right? So one is the fact of not commuting, the other one being the increased density of work. The third one is what you might call the blurring boundaries, right? About boundaries, I mean, I don't know how many calls I've been on and I've seen children just pop up on the screen.
Well, there is nothing we can do about that.
Yes. So that's one part of the boundary. But the other part of the boundary is, previously, if you were in a physical location elsewhere, you could say, I'm leaving now. It's 9 p.m., 7 p.m., 6 p.m., whatever. I'm leaving. And if somebody asks you to do something, you can say, oh, I'm sorry, I've left.
Yeah.
Now, you can't really say that anymore. Because it's just a matter of downstairs, the other room there, or even just getting out of your bed and the table is just beside.
Or just pull your laptop.
Exactly.
You're still in bed.
Yes.
And just start working. Yeah.
So blurring boundaries, and then that brings the other thing. It's almost like those blurring boundaries mean that sometimes it can be like a never-ending wheel. You don't get up, right? You just continue. When do you actually get up? So if I stop there, we look at those 4 things, right? I'm sure there are others. So one thing being not commuting, right?
Yeah.
Second being kind of doing the same work in less time, potentially.
Or more work.
Well,
it is more work for some of us.
Yeah. But that brings to the third one I was talking of, right? Or the fourth one, which is the kind of doing more because suddenly you can't get off the wheel, so you just stay on the wheel. So I want to do that distinctly because I think that's a different element from actually having to spend less time overall at work. And then the third one being what I talked about, blurring boundaries, home and work, and suddenly everything's in the same space and children popping up on the screen and things like that. So
that's right.
So maybe let's start from the first one. Your experience. You said that the last time you went into the office was, call it a year ago, 11 months
almost
ago.
A year.
For me, well, if I say strictly speaking, it was 6 months ago or 5 months ago. Right, I popped in September. Wow. But the same thing applies, right? So, from your perspective, right, not having to commute, what was it for you? Is it a positive? Is it a negative? Are you missing it? Are you thinking, well, never again?
Well, I have to say that up until maybe 7-8 months into lockdown, it was a positive thing. I mean, not that I get to stay in bed for longer if I wanted to, and then I didn't have to go out in the cold or whatever it is to catch a bus or catch a train. Then also I get to save money. So my travel costs me £600 a month. So I get to save that much every single month.
You got a proper promotion and pay rise with that.
Well, yes, you can call it that, but the thing that I actually didn't think about then was, the time, because my travel takes me about 2 hours door to door, right?
Is that one way?
No, both ways. So
1 hour each way.
1 hour each way, yes. So, and those the 1 hour, when I'm going in the morning, most times I'm usually maybe reading something or catching up on things or whatever. And then also sometimes catching up with some friends. And also when I'm coming back home, I do the same thing. Now I don't get to do that anymore. I've literally lost those 2 hours to other things. And for me, if I look at it from a commute point of view, even when we go back to normal, I would still, before the pandemic, I was working from home once a week anyway, but I would still want to probably work from home 2 or 3 times a week. But trust me, I think I'm at that place right now that I really want the commute. It's I just feel like, oh gosh, I just want to dress up and go out and be on the train, not driving or anything, and I can just read some things or I can chat with people or whatever it is, because I don't get to do that being at home. So for me, that's what the commute part of it has been to me personally. So if I take the second one, or was it third one, about
so the second one is about the increased density of work, right? So I'm using that word. I don't want to say increased productivity, because some people say, well, is that productivity word? But you see what I mean? So you said, for example, 2 hours, right? Let's say your day was 10 hours. Let's just say 10 hours. Of those 10 hours, you're actually spending 8 working in the office. The other 2 hours are commuting. Right now, assuming your workload doesn't increase, which is a separate matter, suddenly your work day can only be 8 hours. It needs only be 8 hours. The other 2 hours you can do whatever you like with. But
Do you know,
I think you're going to say something different.
Do you know, yes, I would say something different because that hasn't been my reality. And this is even before the pandemic. So for any day that I work from home, I always end up doing more. Always. For me, maybe call it just me, right? Because some people, that's their opportunity to go shopping and do all of those things and everything. But for me, when I'm working from home, it's like I just feel like, oh yeah, I'm working from the comfort of my home. Yes, I can get, so my head, everything is right in there. And that's how it's been in all of this lockdown. I mean, sometimes I get literally pulled from my desk by my family that okay, now it's enough, let's get something else done. So I would say that I have had more to do working from home. And even if I look at my team as an example, we have actually been more productive. So I mean, this probably won't be applicable to everyone, right? I can only speak for myself. I know that we have been more productive because right now we're seeing things that we were doing before, that it was a case of you had to be in the office to get it done. But these things are being done even way better than they were being done in the first place without us being in the office. So for me, definitely more work. So there is no, I mean, for our viewers, please let us know if your situation is different, if your experience is different. Of course, I believe there will be some people who are so glad and they're so loving this lockdown and, you know, like, okay, just working from home. So maybe not loving the lockdown, but loving the flexibility around working. You understand? I mean, there is always something to give there. So yeah. That's me.
Again, bear in mind that I mean you're highlighting some, I guess, some challenges there. That doesn't necessarily mean that these challenges are intrinsic to working from home, right? Because there are things that can be dealt with. So I think that in my mind, the working from home is one thing, but how you actually do it is the second thing, and that's what we're discussing. Because I think that there's probably an appropriate way, an optimal way of doing it per person, right?
Yes.
And you use the term, it's interesting that you use the word productive, which I was trying to avoid, because once you put that spin on it from the perspective of, say, the employer, or why not? Everybody wants productive, because more productive means you're, in essence, like you said, you're either doing more in less time or doing more, or you're doing the same in less time or doing more in the same time. In your case, that's what you've described. So from the perspective of the employer, more of that, please, right? Because
of course,
you're saving money. Ultimately, you're saving money, right?
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
So, and that brings me to the kind of third part of this. In fact, the third part of this is the blurring lines between family and work, because you've already mentioned that you said family come and drag you away from the desk.
Yes.
Now, I'll give you two examples. I don't know whether anybody saw this, but one of these days I was just, for some reason, I found myself on CNN. I was just watching, I think it was Richard Quest that was on, and he was interviewing the CEO, I believe, of Trivago, or one of
I saw that.
You saw that, right? I saw it live, right? And the gentleman was trying to talk, and then suddenly his son popped up. And this guy wouldn't go. He just stood there, took over the interview, and the father tried everything. He even got the boy to sit on his lap. And then at the end, he really had to kind of tell him off. He spoke German, but kind of it sounded like, I'm trying to be nice.
Him off like,
I'm trying to be nice. Don't get me mad. Now move yourself. Right? And the boy still didn't move, right? And this is becoming all too common. And now that's from the person I didn't know. How many times have I been on calls, video calls with people, and then I've just seen, a child pop up here, somebody pop up here. Sometimes a spouse pop up here, pops up. In fact, I've had a situation where somebody likes to shout the name of the spouse, because while we're having a video call, I think the office is in the kitchen. The spouse is always like using the washing machine, using the blender. So you kind of see all of these things. Now, in your view, what do you think? Number one, is that your experience? Number two, is that a positive or negative?
Well, do you know what? I think, to be honest, so the way I work, when I'm in my workspace, I am in my workspace. So I can be so military when it comes to like, this is my workspace and I don't want anyone in there. And I remember in the early days of lockdown, one of my friends would say to me, oh, Bolanle is fine. I mean, they all know that these things will happen. I didn't really see it as something that was nice. Like, okay, if I was I was on a call maybe most times when I'm in meetings, I'm either leading the meeting or I'm saying something. And if anyone walks into the room, especially my 2-year-old, for instance, who doesn't really understand as much, I feel like I might lose my line of thought as I'm trying to get something out, and I don't want to be distracted. So you will see me say things like, initially I started saying, oh, please hold on 1 second, my 2-year-old. So I had to keep saying, oh, my 2-year-old. So everyone knows that, okay, he's a child, he's not an adult, And then after a while, after being on so many other calls, and even in the company, everyone were like, they were sharing, like you've just shared the ones that you saw as well, like they were sharing different experiences. And it was like, you know what, when we had a management meeting, it was like, you know what, let's understand with people. There are some people who are, especially like single parents, there's no one else to leave their child or their children with, so they will be with them. So let's just be kind. So from there, I got used to it. So I wouldn't say it is a negative thing. I think it's just showing the human side of us. I have a guy on my team currently that on our team meeting on a daily basis, he has a 1-year-old. So this boy sits on his lap, and we are all on video. So I said to him, please don't worry about it. So every single day I would say to the guy, I'll call the boy's name, I'll say, yes, and the youngest member of our team is here. I don't know if he has any updates to give us, just to make everyone laugh, and also for his dad as well, to be comfortable that he has his child with him. These were things that you would never try last 2 years ago or 3 years ago, but we are where we are now. So we just need to embrace it. So yeah, I wouldn't say it is negative. I would say that, as long as people are not walking around like naked behind you and all of that kind of thing.
By the way, but
it has happened, yes. So yeah, as long as that isn't happening, then yeah. And then there's like on Teams, for instance, you can have those virtual backgrounds. So even if someone is behind you,
I think on Zoom, all of them.
As long as they're not like moving their heads or moving around and all of that, you won't even notice who is there. But yeah, for children, sometimes my girl will come on and say, oh, mommy, I want to say hello. And then I'll put out there, say hello, and everyone will be like, hello. And then, yeah, go on. So, yeah.
Oh, by the way, viewers, there are other video calling platforms and apps. Until they start paying us for these mentions, we have to.
They're not true. That's true, yeah. But
So I've got the last question. Let's see if we can push this through in last.
How did we talk to you asking me the question now? Because I think I asked the question in the first place.
You didn't realize what was happening, right?
Viewers, can you see that Prof is showing that he's very smart, is smarter than I am. I came here to ask him questions and he's asking me questions, right? Oh wow. Okay.
There's more time for me to talk later. So this unending hamster wheel, everything we've said, ultimately one of the biggest potential issues could be, if you put all of this together, you're just there is no break, right? There's no break, either a physical break, even sometimes a mental break, because you're always there. What do you think about that? How do you deal with that?
Do you know what? I don't want to be an hypocrite because you're talking about me right now, and I can't say because I'm on SonRise show, I say something different. So I am one of those people that can sit there for hours and not move. So I don't even get like, okay, I can stand up every now and then come back again. But I think in terms of for our health, for instance, so I personally, what I started doing like since last year is to work out every day. So I do it first thing in the morning for 30 minutes. And I feel like once I've done that, I feel like even if I were to sit at my desk for the whole day, I've kind of got the energy boost that I need. And to be honest, I can keep going from 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. and not feel tired at all. But that is because I had worked out in the morning. Do you understand? So I would say that if you're there, you're sitting there for so long, just make sure that you make it an habit to get up every now and then. My watch, for instance, will tell me it's time to stand up and I'll ignore it. Sometimes I'll obey and other times I'll just ignore. But at least. By
the way, people, this is not a recommendation of what to do. This is not, you should not do that, right?
Don't ignore. Well, it's my watch. I paid for it. I can do whatever I like with it.
You're talking short term, but what of longer term, right? Because think about it. One of the benefits of commuting, I'm going to have to wrap this up here now, but maybe we can pick this up afterwards, for the next one. But one of the benefits of commuting, one of the benefits of all of, business travel, all of that, was that you had a break, long term, right? Over a period of time, you find out that you're not in the same environment all the time. You're not seeing the same scenes all the time. You see different people, you see different things along the way. Longer term, you're taking a break from home. Do you know that there are some people for months, like you said, over a year, 85%, in some cases actually I've heard 100% of the scenery they've seen has been inside their home. And I think in the long term that can start to take a toll mentally. And I think that those working from home, it might not be the same, but I think over time it can be tempting to get in that rut and not realize that you owe yourself duty of care to ensure that you give yourself the opportunity to actually take a break. And I'm not just talking about a physical break, mental break, that kind of thing. Just get yourself
I read something in the Harvard Business Review, and it says that don't underestimate the power of going for a walk. Exactly. So even if it's 10 minutes or 15 minutes, thankfully we're soon going to be having longer days than nights. So even after work, you can just go out for a walk. You can do your 10 minutes. I always feel like whenever I step out, the fresh air on my face, on my skin just makes me feel good. And I hope, well, not that I do it all the time, but at least for the days that I do it. So yes, it's basically being mindful of our health and not just getting stuck with where we are and we just sit there. I always say that people who work from a study, and all they can say is like the four corners of that study, and then maybe like the window who looks into the garden. I say I can't survive in that. So I work very close to my front room window, so I can see the road, see what's happening, see what's going on and all. And that's how I've been able to cope.
Well, great. So on that note, you talked about taking a walk. Well, on that note, we're going to take a walk, and when we come back,
yes, it will be our Spotlight Minutes. Okay, see you soon. Hey, Maria. Good morning.
Hello,
how are you?
Maria.
Hello, Mr. Zuby. Hello, Sister Zuby. Good morning.
Good to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us. I'm loving the Ed scarf. I think.
Thank you.
We're matching. Yes, I made my hair like that as well. Good to see you. How was your week?
It's been blessed. Thank you very much. Hope you've had a great one as well.
Did you build any snowmen or women?
No, I've been indoors looking out.
Hey, where are
you everyone build it.
Well, okay. Well, I can't say that because there's no man I built. Honestly, I couldn't share the pictures on social media, but I made it try. Anyway, Maria, before we go into the Spotlight Minutes that you've joined us in this morning, I think it would be nice for us and our viewers as well to get to know you a little bit more. Can you tell us one thing that most people don't know about you? And don't say you're in the choir because we know that already, right?
Yeah.
So, go on.
Okay, so when I was at school, I was chosen to meet Trevor McDonald. He's a newscaster.
Yeah, well, I think we know who's Trevor.
Excellent. Wow, nice. Good. That is good. Well done. So, yes, viewers, you've heard it. That's one thing we didn't know about her at all. And I'm sure no one on here knew anything about that. So right now it is time for our Spotlight Minutes that you have joined us. As we said, it is 5 questions answered so far, under 30 seconds. So that is the record we want to break this morning. And please break the record. So just answer 6 questions at the minimum. Yeah. No pressure. Okay. So Prof, are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go. Maria, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Good. That's what I like to hear. Okay. So your time starts now.
Which famous person would you like to be best friends with?
Michelle Obama.
What is your greatest TV show of all time?
Titanic.
What is your favorite quote or expression?
Prepare to fail, fail to prepare.
What is the one thing you can't live without?
My Bible.
What is your favorite movie genre?
I
was willing you to do it. No. It's all right.
That was 4 questions. The 5th question, you were just about to answer it.
It was brilliant. You know that if we did this twice, you would do it with time to spare.
Shall we replay? Shall we replay?
No favorites there. No favorites.
So Maria, you can see I'm on your side, but Prof won't let us replay. So anyway, don't worry. Next time when you're coming back, we'll prepare more for this. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Maria. That was really nice.
Thank you. Me.
Yes, good to have you. Have a lovely week, and we will see you in the service. Okay.
The service. Exactly.
Take care. Bye. Oh wow, Prof. That was interesting. Maria, can I just say, I am so proud of you. Well done for that.
Excellent.
I wanted us to replay, but Prof wouldn't. Anyway, I'm on your side. So yeah, Prof, thank you so very much for that.
I think Maria gets a special commendation and special mention because she answered a question that required a sentence answer, and she answered it in record time. So by that, actually, yeah, she has a leading edge there. But anyway, it is what
Maria.
It is. So yeah.
All right. So viewers, thank you so much. Thank you for staying with us. Hope you've enjoyed this session. And it is time for service. And as always, Prof, the minister, is about to take us into service. Prof, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vivi. So yes, thank you so much for being with us up to this time. We are looking forward to joining the service. Don't forget, this month we're going deeper in love with him, but deeper also in knowing him. So in the next few minutes, Pastor Timmy is going to come up and is going to take us even further along that learning route. Don't go anywhere. Come with us as we enjoy the service. See you on the other side. Bye.
Bye. Have a great week.